I'm talking about a rusty how-to. Rusty how-to. How-to cousins, it's Rusty coming to you live from one of the trucks in the fleet. It's a Thursday morning and I'm heading out to do a little bit of sourcing. I had a really good day this last weekend. The video on that is up if you want to see it. It's where I paid $2 for a bracelet that turned out to be 18 karat gold, about 22 grams worth. So we're talking $800 to $900 just in scrap gold weight, but the brand is quite nice. It's worth somewhere in the range of $1,000 to $2,000 depending on condition and the particular style. So I was excited about that, hoping we can build upon that success this week. I'm going to hit a couple of places as usual once we get back to the warehouse with the items that I have obtained. We'll do a quick look at them. Not a lot of fluff, folks. I'm not sponsored by anybody. No sponsorship. This is not a hugely successful YouTube channel. I'm not out here building upon the name recognition of another huge channel and working with different people and dropping names. It's just me and Peaches and people at the warehouse crew. We're just trying to make a living for ourselves, make about as much as teachers make. Nothing against teachers. They're highly underappreciated monetarily, and I feel the same way about us. We're just taking things that are of value, that happen to be out here, that there are collectors out there who are looking for this stuff, and so we find it, we buy it at a certain price, and then we get that stuff in the hands of people who can truly appreciate it, and we make a buck or two in the process, which is the way in which we're able to continue to do it. So anyhow, what we like to do is try to show you a bit of what we're doing as well, and that way if you're hoping to make an extra bit of money either on the side or if you're considering doing this full-time, you can kind of join along with us. So we're going to do this right now. A quick teaser, speaking of doing this full-time, which is what we do as quote-unquote resellers. It's kind of got a dirty tinge to it, only because of certain practices of certain individuals. But this is something that's been done by people since there's been a buck to be made out there. People have been doing what we're doing. We're just doing it in the digital age using the internet, the interwebs and such. But we're going to put out a video here in this next week talking about our journey as full-time resellers and what that means. If you ever consider doing this full-time, but you're not quite sure what would be necessary to think about or to consider ahead of time, we sort of launched into this without a big business plan and a lot of knowledge, and we sort of figured out as we went. But there's no reason why you have to do that. We'd like to give you some tips. We'll be very honest with you. So we're going to put out a video on that, what it's like to be a reseller, the pros and the cons, what to consider, and you can make a decision for yourself what's right for you. Then on top of that, we're going to do a video on being a YouTube channel, okay? Because this is a secondary thing. We are quote-unquote monetized at this point, but I could basically walk around in the parking lot of my local grocery store and in an hour's time find more change on the ground than money that we make from YouTube. And that is it is not an exaggeration. That is 100% true. I've done the math, okay, on the amount of time it takes us to make these videos and the work that goes into it. But are you thinking, hey, this is fun watching these channels? I know how to do that. I've got a skill or a trade. I'd love to bring this to the world. Well, that's awesome. So you're saying, well, what does it take? Should I make a YouTube channel? Maybe I could make some money doing YouTube. Well, I would love to jump in there. I'm not going to be one of these quote-unquote channel creator type channel. I'm not going to make a video telling you like that, get to 0 to 1,000 subscribers in just 30 days. Baloney, folks. How to make $100,000 on YouTube. Come on, folks. Here's the teaser. It's basically like playing the lottery, like getting a lottery ticket, except there's a lot more work involved. So, but I'm gonna tell you exactly what our experience is. We've been doing this since January of 2021. It is October of 2022, so we are almost 2 years in. And I'm going to do a video to show you what our journey has been like. We are not the most attractive people on the planet, folks. very much not so. And we're also towards the middle of our lives, so we're not young, attractive people. Those are some big strikes against us when it comes to being successful YouTubers. But anyhow, we're going to talk to you about our process. Are you a regular average person? Because I am. And if you are, I'm going to tell you what it's going to be like starting a YouTube channel. And again, I'm not going to tell you don't do it, and I'm not going to tell you to do it. I'm going to tell you I'm going to give you a quote-unquote reality check from our perspective, and you can decide for yourself. So this video is about sourcing. Next video is about doing this full-time and what that's like, and then the next one is YouTube. So stay tuned, folks. Sorry I've droned on. This is what they call a talking head situation here. Not enjoyable, I'm sure. So let's get to the good stuff. If you stuck around long enough, I appreciate it. Now let's get right to it. Let's go find some treasures. All right, folks, here we are. We're back at the warehouse, and I have laid out all the stuff that I purchased today. I went to about 6 separate places here, and this is what I come out with. I spent about $70 on everything here, and one of these items is worth at least triple that. Could be quite a bit more even. I'm going to let you kind of look and kind of decide what you think is the piece that's worth more than the rest. And we'll play a game here in a few minutes that we've done back in time. But let me just go ahead and get into this, talk about what I have here, why I got it, and what I think I'll get out of it. I've got them categorized. We've got brooches here, earrings, bracelets and necklaces, and then sort of the odd man out here. And we'll start with this one right here. This one came in this little container. It cost me $1. It's a little pendant. It's either goes on a necklace or maybe on a bracelet. It's like a charm, but it could be a pendant. It has a little telephone on it. My guess is this is like a Southwestern Bell or something like that. If you turn over and look here, you can see right there it says YRS. Let me see if I can get this here. YRS NYY. And then it says 1/10 10 karat GF. So this is 1/10, 10% is 10 karat gold. And gold filled really just means gold plated, all right? So for $1, this is definitely worth more than that. It probably weighs around 5 grams. So $2 to $3 in gold weight, but somebody who cares about this kind of thing would be interested. I can either try to sell it on its own, or I can throw it in a mixed lot with other gold-filled items and just sell them for scrap. Let's jump into these earrings here, folks. I've got a variety of different ones. These are mostly costume, but we've got some others. First off, let me just ask you what you think the more valuable ones here are. We've got these with the rhinestones. We got these that are blue plastic with a gold tone behind. We got these shaped like little cowboy hats. We've got these sort of swirly design ones, and then these, some sort of substance with this kind of gold colored line action. I want you to think about it for a moment. I'm going to get into it here. First off, we got this set right here, beautiful rhinestones. They are prong set, as you can see. Now, they're mostly glued in. The prongs are really more aesthetic. They're not really holding it in. You can see that top one, it's just sort of in there. And please excuse my cut up, dirty hands, folks. I work for a living. I don't have beautifully manicured hands. You're just going to have to get over it. I'm so sorry. But this right here, you can see Listener, L-I-S-N-E-R. It's pretty high end. I'd say medium end. Costume jewelry brand, but it's quite collectible. And they're good quality. These are clip-ons. Everything you're looking at here cost me about $1 or $2. Now, each of these, if they're just costume with no precious metals and things, can sell for $10 to $20 if it's the right brand. This one right here, you can see on the back here, is a brand called Trifari. The little crown at the top there, on top of the T, Crown Trifari. These are the older ones. They're really good condition. Highly sought after Trifari stuff. It sells really well. Look it up, Trifiri. And then let's slip over then to this next set right here. Look on the back again, Trifari again with the crown. So I got 2 sets of crown Trifari. I could sell these individually or in a group of just Trifari costume jewelry. I will probably just set these up as buy it nows for about $25 each, $24.99, maybe even free shipping, or just like $3 free shipping. I'll take an offer for maybe $5 less. I'd like to get $20 out of each of them, and then also cover the shipping costs. And if I'm just $1 or $2 in, again, this is not crazy money, folks, but if I sold each of these and made you know, $18 a piece, it's not too bad. All right, now for these, we've got this pair of earrings here. You can see by the color, definitely a silver tone. I'll mention real quick that a lot of times whenever I see silver tone earrings, and the type of loop that goes in the ear is a type that's, you can see how it's rounded here, and then when it gets to about that spot, it flattens out. It's flat. If these would be sterling silver, a lot of times sterling silver ones will have the mark, the 925 mark right there on that flat part, folks. This one does not, but if you flip her over, on this back side where the hat is, let me try to zoom in here on this. Boy, my camera's having a tough time zooming today. Where's this other one at? Here we go. You can barely see. Hold on a second. Let me try to refocus this booger. There we go. You can barely see right here. There's a little stamp right there, and let's see this other one. See if I can get the stamp there as well. Well, you're not going to be able to see it, but it's very, very tiny. Uniqueness. In scrap silver weight, we're really just probably talking about, these are probably weigh about 10 grams total, so really like $6 or $7 just in silver scrap. But I paid $2 for it, so even the scrap is actually, so doggone it. Guys, this is sort of like the perfect example of me. Is like I'm always dropping this stuff, and luckily this is not anything that's going to get damaged by it, but goodness. They're kind of cool though, aren't they? That's why I got them. All right, last up here is this pair. As far as the earrings are concerned, you can see that it's this interesting kind of whitish cream colored substance. But the thing that tipped me off right here was on the back. I'm going to try to zoom in here and pull this up here. On the back, right here on the bottom, do you see that little stamp? Do you see that little stamp there? Let's see if this one's a little bit clearer. Yeah, it is. Do you see that stamp right there? It says 585. And folks, just like the piece, the bracelet I got last week that was stamped 750, that's the European mark. Traditionally for 18 karat gold, 585 is the mark for 14 karat. So these little gold bands are in fact gold. These are 14 karat gold. You can see one has detached there. Now, I was excited at first because I thought, oh great, the substance that has gold. I can sell that even though it has a silver, or it's got a steel post, but it's got this silver colored end piece here. I can replace that, But then, upon doing further inspection, as I look at this thing, and some of you maybe have already figured out what I'm about to say, and that is that what we're looking at here is, it's not just gold, folks. Unfortunately, this is made of ivory. Ivory, so tusk from, you know, African animals. And this stuff is basically illegal. I don't know if you can see this right underneath of here. It's difficult to kind of tell the pattern from this little video, but oh, right there's perfect. Do you see how this is kind of almost like an X, like cross-hatched a little bit? Lines going from upper left to lower right and then upper right to lower left. That is the telltale sign of ivory. That's just the way that it grows. It's different than bone. It's different than shell or abalone. This basically dates this quite a bit. It's definitely it's probably 20, 30 plus years old, older than that most likely. This is probably from the 40s or the 50s. But yeah, it's ivory, folks, and I'm not going to be able to sell these legally because it is illegal to sell ivory. So it's a bummer. I got something with gold. you know, if I were to try to sell these, I'd be, you know, playing with fires, essentially. So I don't want to do that. They're interesting. I don't know what I'm going to do with it yet, but I did not look close enough in detail at them. Once I saw that they were made of gold, I was like, well, I'm just going to get them, right? Because I know I can make my money back. But anyhow, unfortunately not. But I don't want to be a part of the world that's selling this stuff, because I don't respect or believe that people should be killing those animals. So there it is. Real quick, folks, before we move on, we're going to play a game back by popular demand. It's called This or That. It's where you look at two items and you figure out whether you think one is more valuable than the other. Let's see if you can get these right. Welcome back, How To Rusty, to Rusty How To. How you do? This or that. It's a game. Rusty How To. It's gonna be so much fun. All right, folks, welcome to This or That. Let's get right into it. Which is more valuable? This gold tone necklace with a pendant with these little stones slash charms, or this gold tone, not, you know, appears to be a braided necklace. Which do you think? I'm going to give you about 3 seconds to make your decision. Which one, folks? Well, folks, if you said that this one was more valuable, you are correct. And the reason, folks, is not because of the look of it, but it's because this particular necklace, even though it looks a little shabby, a little old, and a little out of style, if you look real close, you'll find right here by my thumbnail, and even right there at the little latch, it says 925. You see it's upside down there. 925. This entire necklace is made out of sterling silver, folks. It weighs about, I'm trying to remember, holding it about 18 to 20 grams of silver. Plus, you know, it's functional, and I believe that this is gold filled, so it's what they call gold over sterling silver, whereas this, even though it's more contemporary, cutesy little thing, it's more of a trinket type thing. It's nice looking, so you could probably sell it. It's got these little keys and these little stones. I actually don't know what the brand is, but I've looked up similar things, and they, you know, maybe $15 to $20. Whereas something like this, especially the fact that I have the matching bracelet, I can call it a set or a partial set. I could sell this for $40 to $50, whereas I'm probably only going to get 15 to 20 on that one. Which is more valuable, folks? This gold tone colored enamel painted brooch, or this gold tone knotted necklace? Take a look at that right here, over here. Well, folks, if you said that this one was more valuable, I'm sorry, folks, but you're incorrect. This one, in fact, is the more valuable of the two. And the reason is a couple of things. Number one, as is indicated here on the top of this clasp here, it says sterling. So this is sterling silver. It's about 35 grams of sterling silver. It has a maker mark, Nettie, I think it's Rosenthal or Rosen something. I'll have to go back and look it up. And then this is hand-painted, enameled, and each of these stones is a bezel set emerald. These are all green emeralds, folks. You can see the glint on the top of those. So we got some precious stones. We've got a gold plate over sterling silver, and a very, very attractive piece. This piece, somewhere in the range of $250 to $400, depending on the buyer. This, on the other hand, is a Ralph Lauren branded necklace. I believe it's Ralph Lauren. I'm not 100% sure on that. I looked up. It doesn't say the name. It just has letters. And from my cursory research, that's what it said. But it's very well made. It's very beautiful. At first, I thought it might be gold, or at least gold plated. I'm not sure on that, but my guess is $20 to $30 on this. But this is going to be more of like a $300 average dollar range piece. This piece alone will pay me back, and I'll be in the profit on everything that you see here that we bought today. All right, folks, now we're into the necklaces and we're into the bracelets. I'm going to start off here This bracelet is kind of a gold tone. You can see it's fairly heavily worn. It is a bracelet though. You can connect it. It is not. It looked kind of like a watch band, and I wasn't surprised when I turned it over and did some research to find that the brand. Turn this over right here. The brand is Chrysler, K-R-E-I-S-L-E-R. Or Chrysler or something like that. They made watch bands, folks. That's what they're really well known for back decades ago. This, I believe, is gold filled, gold plated, although that gold portion is wearing off. The prices on this are all over the map, but I only paid $1 for it. So even if I'm only able to get 10 or 15, 20 bucks out of it, it's still a good purchase, especially along with everything else that I bought. This piece right here I purchased. I don't honestly believe, folks, that this, well, they might. I'm not sure if this little pendant, this little pin brooch, was actually made to go with this initially because the color's a little bit off. But it has the original tag, which was really fascinating to me. Maybe it is. It's the Vandel quality, 1/20th, 12 karat gold filled. It even says it on here, folks. It says it's gold filled. This tag is your assurance of quality. Well, I guess it's still quality since the tag's still on it. But this is gold filled, folks. 1/20th, which is 5%, is 12 karat gold filled. It can be worn as obviously a pendant on a necklace, which is it's on here, or it can be a brooch in and of itself. And even on the back here, you can see that it says the brand. So yeah, it is the right one, Vandel. And so this again, this was $2. They seem to not care that it was made out of gold. You got this plasticky red stone that's superficially set with those prongs, but it's definitely worth that price. We've already talked about these, folks, with this or that. This is some sort of like a little charm bracelet with these little stones. My guess is they are glass. And then these little stones in this heart. It's an attractive little piece. But it looks like the kind of thing you'd buy out at like at a shopping mall or something like that. If somebody knows what the brand is, that has the little key with the little rhinestone by it, those are not diamonds. I don't see any marks on here indicating what the brand is or that any of this is precious metal. So I'm going to make an educated guess and say that they are not. But it's attractive nonetheless. I only paid $1 for that. I figured that I could get my money back there. And then this set I bought for $8 in a bunch of other costume, higher-end, what they said, higher-end costume jewelry. But both of these, folks, are made out of sterling silver. They are what they call gold over sterling silver. It has a mark on these little links here. Flip it over right here. It has 925 and it says Italy. So we've got a gold tone. That's because there is a thin layer of gold over it, and the rest is 925 out of 1,000 parts solid silver. All right, and then we got this necklace, and this is perplexing me, folks. I don't know yet what it is. The brand, the closest I've come to determining so far is that it is a Ralph Lauren brand. It's very attractive, very nice. This is the type of look of necklaces that are made of solid gold or high gold, like 18 karat gold. They can be amazing. This is quite heavy. It's probably 40 grams. So if this was gold, this would have been like a $2,000 value, just in gold value type of a piece. But you can see here on the bottom edge of this little pole that would go in as part of the clasp, right there. Do you see that? Right. Let me see if I can zoom and get back in right there. You can see that kind of it's a weird shape. I believe that it has the letters R and L, RL, which would fit for Ralph Lauren, but there are also other manufacturers of high-end jewelry that have the same initials. So there's some more research that needs to be done. I spent up on this, folks. I paid $10 for it. It was, to me, it was a risk, a pretty low risk, or low cost gamble in case this was even just gold filled. That would be a decent amount of gold. You can see I have a gold ring on here, and it looks just like that. It's the same color. So this could be gold filled. It could be some high-end costume thing. I will try to update you if I find out, but $10 because of a couple other pieces here that I'm going to make good money on. I was able to kind of take that risk today, hoping that it would pay off. Sometimes it does, but most of the time it doesn't. All right, time for the brooches, folks. Now, get a good look at these pieces, okay, to get the aesthetic feeling. You're going to get indications of maybe age based on the style, the use of the colors, the types of materials that they are, and whether or not they're just pleasing to the eye. Now that you've done that, that's an important piece, but it's not the most important piece. Now let's actually get in and figure out what's going on with these. All right, folks, this is really where you need to be whenever you're looking to try to figure out information about costume jewelry or even high-end jewelry. You're looking for telltale signs of either the maker being like a well-known, well-respected, well-collected manufacturer, or you're looking for indications of higher-end materials like gold or silver or legitimate gemstones. All right, so let's start over here. What we got with this one is, I don't love, this is sort of like an exception to the rule. A lot of times when I find costume jewelry that has this scratching kind of texture on the bottom, we talked about this many times before, that's usually an indication, probably 8 to 9 times out of 10, that it's a cheap piece of costume jewelry. This is an exception to the rule. Right here we have the name Trifari. Now there's no crown over the T, so this is later in the life of this company, when they were more well-known. This stuff does not command the types of values that the earlier stuff does, but that brand brings with it a collector base, and so it's worth it. When I find brooches for $3 or less with the name Trifari, I buy them 100% of the time, provided they're in good condition, aren't missing stones, things like that. Sometimes I'll still buy them if they're missing stones, if I think I have ones that I could replace with, but you know, you got to factor in the time and the effort into you know, the cost you think you're going to get out of it. Here's another one. Still some of those lines, but you can see right here, Trifari. Woo, there we go. Right here, Trifari. And in this case, there is a little crown over the T there. So this is an older piece. You can see that some of this gold color is starting to wear off in the middle here, right there. Boop, boop, boop. But that's a little weld spot where these two pieces, which are actually, you can see a spot here and here. So these are two pieces that have kind of been linked together, overlaid on top of each other, and then welded together. And then you have this kind of this, I don't know, brownish, red, like orangish kind of tone with the gold. Kind of sort of an outdated, I mean, this was made probably in the 1950s, 1960s. And so that was sort of more the fashion back then. Let me flip this puppy over too so you can see those. Okay, moving on. Here's this one. This was the red one. Remember these kind of iridescent red stones. They got a lot of prongs, but they're all pretty superficial. I could prime with my thumb if I wanted to. In the back, they're closed. That tells me that these are not real stones, that you benefit as the viewer by looking, having the light go through them and see the natural hue and color of the stones. Instead, these things probably are red plastic and or they're white plastic, but underneath they have they have like this foil that's painted red, or this, yeah, a red foil color. So it's, you know, it's foil, so the light's hitting the back actually, and then it's picking up the color that they have painted on it, and that's what's coming back to your eye. Whereas if you have a real stone, the color is naturally a part of the stone, and so you need the light to go all the way through it in order to actually see the pure true color. Otherwise, if they put like foil or blacked it out on the back, it would appear very, very dark, and it would not have the appeal that they're looking for here. So on the back, now this though, without the scratches, without the whatever, it's heavier. This is a higher quality piece. There's more work that went into this. These are nice. You see the little individual welds all along in between all these pieces where they were all put together. The nice pin there is a beautiful piece. It's not marked. It's not gold. It's not silver. It's not made by a particular manufacturer, but I've seen lots of pieces by companies like Weiss or Coro that have made pieces like this, or even higher end ones like Haskell and things like that. All right, moving on to these two. Now, taking a look at this, flip her over again. Look, this is a very beautiful piece, folks. It's got this gold tone, very bright and vibrant, okay? Got these, what appear to be, pearls. Now, this is what's interesting. So this piece, I'll just go ahead and tell you, does not have a maker on it. It also does not indicate gold or silver. So it probably is not, well, I say that. Oh yeah, that's just, there's like a residue on the edge of that pen. May look like there was something imprinted on it, but it's just residue. What I like about this is it's a very well-made piece. The metal that's put on here has been very expertly created. And also, instead of these may be, my guess is these are faux pearls, or they're at least like highly cultured things, because there's nothing separating them. People who put pearls, real pearls, together on necklaces and things tie little knots of rope in between them to keep them from rubbing and damaging one another. This doesn't have that. However, the way that they made this style was, if you look real close, you can see this little braided thin steel wire. So they have hand strung these pearls onto this piece. Once they created the piece first off, then they welded it together. Then they put this pin, they welded it on, or I keep saying welded. You know what I mean? Soldered is what I'm meaning. Soldering is just a tiny version of welding. You get what I mean. And then they took by hand and they strung these pearls on to this, and then they, in such a way as to where they would rotate around into the grooves of this spiral motif. And then once they tied them together, and then they soldered that onto the piece as well. So this is a multiple steps in order to create this piece. Plus, you have, you can see the indications of a person's hand at work on this piece. So this is a nice piece. I don't know who made it. I'm going to keep doing some research before. It's very possible that this is a gold overlay on this, but I do believe that those are fake pearls. But it's a very nice, nicely made piece. And those are the details, folks, that I'm talking about, that you just need to pick up a lot. You need to put your hands on a lot of pieces of jewelry. And when you find ones that are good brands, take a look at what they've done. Why are those brands nice? You'll find most of the time that they're higher quality. All right, this piece. Folks, this is the most valuable piece of jewelry that I've found. Each of these little green stones is an emerald. I've not counted them, but there's somewhere between 25 and 30 probably on here, maybe 20 to 30, something like that. Tiny little emeralds. Each one of them is not prong set, but they've been hand placed in and fitted by a jeweler. Like, so these are little round bezels that are holding those stones in place. On top of that, on the inside of each of these flower pieces, they have hand painted a kind of a cream to pinkish colored enamel. Okay, so you got this contrast between a light color and a very bright, darker color, the green. Then you have these gold tone leaves surrounding this, sort of like a halo effect. You've also got the three-dimensional aspect of the fact that the leaves are coming out, up and down, all around. This piece on top here that can kind of wiggle a little bit is a separate piece that has been soldered in on the top. Okay, and then when you flip it over, you find a couple of things pretty easily. Right here, you have the manufacturer's name, Nettie, again, I forget. I should have looked at it before I got on the video, but starts with an O. If you look up Nettie in eBay with an R, it's going to pop up that name, and you'll find that maker's stuff. Then you have this really cool clasp here that I'm going to pop open. Okay, first off, I'll show you right here. It says sterling. So you can see the wear, the tarnish there. This is a gold plating that has been wearing off, and then you also have the tarnishing of the silver to boot on that. And it may just be tarnished. Maybe it's still there and the tarnish is overshadowing that. But if I pop this up, you can see these two sharp pins. This is made to be more of like a scarf. Like a fur clip, they call them, or something for like a coat or something. And you would stick this pin in and you fold it over. So it's a little bit different type of way of affixing it to your clothing, but that's what it's for. But it pops all the way up. Beautiful. You can see on the inside here. Very nice. It's quite heavy. It's sterling silver. I paid up for this. I paid, believe it or not, I paid about $75 for everything here. I paid $50 for this piece, folks. $50 for costume jewelry? Rusty, you're just out of your mind. Well, no, I'm not. I mean, look at these beautiful emeralds here. And it's a gorgeous piece. It's old. It's from the late 1940s, I believe. These pieces are selling anywhere from on the low end, $200 up into the $500 range. And I was happy to find this. I don't find pieces like this very often. But this piece alone, when it sells, I'll have doubled my money on the entire lot just from this one piece, and then I'm going to be in the profit on everything else. Well, cousins, thanks so much for joining today. It's such a nice day outside. It's fall, beautiful colors. I think I'm going to reward myself today by taking a quick little drive up the mountains and just enjoy the beauty of the country. See you again next week, folks.
Beep, boop, boop,
Let's go make some money. Rusty, 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 how to? Rusty, 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 how to? Rusty, Rusty.